The man, the myth, the legend, Scott Stapp with Creed, and right now on the phone is that gentleman right there. Scott Stapp, good morning, man. How are you?
Doing great, man. How you doing?
Fantastic. So excited to talk to you for multiple reasons. For one, obviously Creed. I mean, we all know you and, love the music. Haven't heard it for a while here, listening to it, getting back in the mood. But then also, I'm a reality TV junkie, and I happen to be hooked on couples therapy. So I feel like I've been spending every week with your wife and you. So it's nuts.
Yeah, man, a lot going on.
Yeah, exactly. You're a busy man here. Well, let's start by talking a little bit about the tour here. You got a 17-city tour kicking off in January, and you're doing all the Creed stuff. It's like a little musical history of Scott Stapp.
Yeah, man, I'll be playing the Creed tunes and songs off my 2 solo records. So it's the Stapp experience.
That's going to be awesome, man. And
how
long has it been since you've been out on the road?
It's been a year.
Okay.
I took the last year off to kind of deal with some personal issues, man, and a crisis that kind of came up in my life, and really focused on confronting, something that I'm dealing with in my life, and that's bipolar disorder, and then kind of, rebuilding my family after going through a crisis with that.
Yeah, obviously we're going to see kind of an in-depth look at that on couples therapy now, you dealing with, I got to say, first of all, a lot of people got worried. I've got a friend up here that works with us that watches the show too, and I mentioned you were going to be on the show, and she goes, didn't his wife leave him? The way they cut that promo for last week's episode, it made it look like she was done, where she just says, like, Scott, I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah, they do that stuff for ratings and to kind of build the intensity and the expectation of what it's going to be about. And so it's crazy editing in those reality shows.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's a great look into your life there. And I got to say, I didn't know anything about your wife. She's a wonderful woman. Congratulations.
Hey, thank you, man. She's my hero, man.
Yeah, she does great stuff. And what'd you guys think of the couples therapy experience overall? Reality TV, especially that type of reality, has got to be pretty intense.
Yeah, it was very intense, and it was definitely a challenging experience for us. But getting to the end of it, it really helped us. And there's real therapy going on that show, and we also looked at it as a platform to kind of share our story and kind of let people know that we went through something as a couple and as a family, but we made it through to the other side, and this is how we did it.
It's great to see, especially with, you talked about your struggles there. A lot of people that aren't watching couples therapy just kind of remember that, Scott Stapp from Creed, he was out doing his thing, and then all of a sudden, we started seeing the crazy videos and, nobody knowing really what was going on in your life. And now with the couples therapy news kind of coming out, you've, admitted that you have had some serious issues with addiction and you got bipolar disorder. And so I commend you for being so open and honest about that stuff, because I think it's good for people to see that it can happen to anybody and it can be a huge problem for anybody, and you've got to get ahead of it and deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so, I'm grateful that finally, for the first time in over a decade, that I feel like I am ahead of it. I finally have answers that explain a lot of things in my life that happened over the last decade. And so in really getting those answers, it's kind of inspired me and my wife to want to continue to share our story, because there's millions of people out there suffering. And we want to kind of inspire them to get help, to speak out, and also inspire their families to intervene if necessary.
Yeah, exactly. Once it gets, too out of hand, obviously, people make choices on their own, but when something gets too crazy there and people are in danger and relationships have the potential to be ruined, you got to step in and take charge.
Yeah, definitely. And that's exactly what my wife did.
What a great woman she is there. And let's talk a little bit about Creed in general here. First of all, you are going out as Scott Stapp, not as Creed here. What's the story behind why can't we get Creed back together and just do a Creed tour? Is there just too much bad blood there?
No, not at all, man. We're all in communication. We all talk. Actually hung out with Scott Phillips at a golf tournament a couple weeks ago. I talked to Tremonti pretty regularly. We text and trade messages with each other, and really it's just a matter of getting our schedules together and then kind of readdressing what we want to do once we're finished with what we're all doing right now.
Okay, so it's not an issue of them saying we're not going to go out with you ever again, we hate you. It's just a scheduling and life issue.
Yeah, man.
Okay, good to know there. Steve on our app here, he wants to know if you feel that the Christian label hindered Creed's success at all over your career.
I tell you what, with 11 number one singles, 53 million records sold, I really don't think it hindered our success at all.
Yeah, I was going to say, once you say like the 53 million sold, it's like, I don't know what it would have done if it was hindered. I mean, that's a heck of a lot of success right there. So
yeah, man,
that's pretty insane. And what else is going on in life? I mean, obviously, things are going well with you and your wife, and the kids are doing well. You got the tour coming up here. What other stuff are you working on?
I'll be going into the studio in the first week of December and recording a new track called Up From the Ashes. It was kind of inspired by, my life over the last year and the crisis that I went through personally and with my family. And all proceeds from the track are going to benefit the National Association for Mental Illness. You can check out their website at nami.org. And so I'm excited about getting some new music out. I've also got an announcement that I can't announce until early next year about a new project that I'm working on. So I'm excited. There's a lot going on.
Very cool. That's good. Yeah, that's good to hear. And I mean, speaking about the single and the money going to the mental illness organization there, I want to know, what do you have to say to, somebody out there, a mom listening that's, got a child that she thinks might be struggling, somebody out there that personally doesn't really know what's going on in their head, they just feel a little off. I mean, what should people look for and what can they do to get help for these sort of things?
Well, first and foremost, you've got to ask for help. You've got to go to your doctor, to a family member, to someone that you trust, and share with them the reality of what's going on in your life. Also getting educated and reading things that describe, what these illnesses are. That's why I kind of direct people always to the National Association for Mental Illness website, nami.org, and you can really get educated because a lot of times you don't know. You just know something's wrong. Mm-hmm. And you can't be afraid to ask for help. Over 50% of people that suffer with bipolar disorder commit suicide, and I'm really hoping to kind of help impact that number and prevent anyone out there who's suffering from taking that route. And then families out there, you've got to intervene, and sometimes you got to make tough decisions, and you can't worry about, are they going to be mad at me? You've got to do what's in the best interest of that human being to save their life. And so, a lot of times people suffering with mental illness mask it with alcohol and drugs, and families really have to intervene. And you've got to get that stuff out of the way before you can really get to the core of what's going on. So you just, on two fronts, I want to inspire families to get educated, and then anyone out there who's suffering from something, get the help that you need. Don't be afraid.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, obviously the light at the end of the tunnel there. I mean, the tunnel can be dark and dismal and seem like there's no hope, but there is light at the end, like you said. I mean, and you've come out of it, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of people now through the work you're doing that have come out of it as well. So yeah, reach out for help. If somebody in your life's going through it, try to help them and get them the help they need. And I got to say, Scott Stapp, the voice of Creed, 17-city tour kicking off in January. The new single going to be coming out shortly, so be on the lookout for that. You can check out Couples Therapy on VH1. Google Scott, see what he's up to. Check this tour out, and then I also have to just commend you, man. I think, a lot of people go through this stuff, and whether they get help or not, when they do, they either just go under the radar, you don't hear from them again, they go live on a boat somewhere with all their money, and I think it's cool that you're coming out and putting yourself on the line and being vulnerable and letting people know what you went through to try to help. I think it's going to make a big difference, and I really respect you for doing that, Scott.
Hey, thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
And best of luck with everything. Tell the Wi-Fi we're loving you guys on the show, and hopefully we'll see you come up here to Billings sometime in the future.
Yeah, man, stay tuned. I'm going to announce some dates in January.
Very nice. Scott, thanks so much for taking the time, man, and be well.
Hey, thank you, brother.
The Big J Show. Weekday mornings from 6 till 10 on Billings' #1 hit music station, Hot 101.9.